Oh yeah.
In that film or in that show, I think I can see her being appealing. I mean, in the context, you know.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. You should check it out.
I usually like it when they center like true crime type movies or TV shows around Alaska. Alaska's a very mysterious, murderous kind of state. You know, it's a good place to go if you want to be a serial killer. You can make people disappear really, really easily in Alaska. Did you ever hear about that one serial killer?
If people start disappearing, Andres, we know who to look at.
Did you hear about that one serial killer that was like that was a baker that used to go and pick up prostitutes and stuff and fly them out onto like remote areas of Alaska and kill them out in the wilderness? He'd like hunt them like a hunter, he'd let them free and then like hunt them.
Man, see,
that sounds like every fucking serial killer I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty rare to actually hunt people.
Nah, it's been done. It's been
done.
It's been done, but it's rare.
I don't think it's rare.
No,
I think it's a lot more. I think it's more. It occurs more than you think because it's not talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's probably lots of serial killers that have gotten away with serial killing over the years. I mean, back in the day, police work was not like it is now. You know? It wasn't as easy to, automatically, pin murders on somebody back in the day. It's easier now. Now that we have DNA and shit like that, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers leave DNA and get found out 40 years later after they commit murder.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Watching those motherfuckers get interrogated is crazy. They're like, I can't believe I'm in this room with 40 years later. I don't even remember killing that bitch. Anyways. So the MCU's Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. Let's see. Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 4. Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge, co-host of the MCU's Bleeding Edge, moderating this week with Andres the Pop Culture Guy and my co-host Cyberneticshark on the guest panel this week. And Cyber does episode 5. And then Andres does episode 6. And that is the end of the show. So 35 minutes on this episode this week, which was like a little bit of an improvement compared to the last couple episodes, but not a big improvement. Still a very short episode, but a little bit meatier than the last couple that we've had. So, squaring in on Night of the Seven Kingdoms, guys, Cyber, what are your thoughts on the show so far through 4 episodes?
I am absolutely loving it. I absolutely love the show. It's one of my favorite shows of the year so far. I have been just really enjoying it. I think everything about it is well written, well acted. The storyline I have been loving, and I think it's great to see just such an interesting take on what we had, years before, what happened in the original Game of Thrones series. So I think that they're doing a really great job at the same time as just being really fun. And it's just been really intriguing. And this, 4th episode just was dynamite. Absolutely loved it. So I think they're doing a really good job so far in these first 4 episodes. And I'm hoping that we get more out of this series than just these 6 episodes. So I think it's been a really fun show so far.
Yeah, episode 4 was definitely a banger for this show. This sort of very at times uneventful sort of TV show that we've been covering. Andres, what are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Cyber. I think fun is a good word for the show. I think it delivers on all the comedy, but also the intrigue. I really like this episode. I think this is my favorite of the bunch. Hopefully, they can keep up the quality like for this episode, because I was starting to like kind of just like, okay, just don't care about this show, because I don't mind comedy, but their comedy is just like, okay, you know. But there's one joke here. This episode made me laugh really hard. I was like, yes, perfect. We'll get into it. It was really funny. But yeah, I really like this episode. I, like, the situation that Doug is in, and then, we got the twist at their last episode, so it was cool to see, how that twist was gonna go for this episode, and yeah, it delivered. So I'm very excited for the last two episodes, in the next 2 weeks.
I feel like there's a lot going on in television this year. Honestly, so it's going to be a tough year. Like from an award ceremony, standpoint, there's going to be a lot of competition. There's going to be a lot going on in 2026. Is House of the Dragon season 3 coming out this year, Andres?
Yeah, they're coming out this year. They just haven't announced like 1 month, because it sounds like that it's coming out in August. But we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So the episode is called The Seven, and it is directed by Sarah Adina Smith and written by Aziza Barnes and Annie Julia Weinman and Ira Parker. Okay, so let's see. Egg tells an imprisoned Dunk that his real name is Aegon Targaryen. He lied to become a squire after his brother, Daron, refused to participate in the tournament. So Egg wanted to go to the tournament. Baylor informs Dunk that Daron has also accused him of kidnapping Egg, which is like an actual crime, essentially. Dunk requests a trial by combat, I think, by the suggestion of Baylor. But Arion demands a trial by 7. Dunk must find 6 knights to fight beside him in a 7 versus 7 joust at dawn or face punishment. So I'll stop there. And I'll go back to you, Cyber. What are your thoughts on that opening part of the episode, sir?
That opening part of the episode is really good. I think that the conversation between Egg and Dunk is really powerful. You can see how hurt Dunk is, and at the same time, how much he still cares about Egg and how much he still has that brotherly love for him, and that he wants to be friends. He wants to forgive him, but at the same time, he's not 100% sure how to, because he was lied to. And, as a knight, being truthful and fighting for what's right is kind of what a knight is all about. And so that's why it's kind of hard for him to think, to be, to just, give in that easily. But as we see, as the conversation goes along, he, says, take back those tears and, stop crying, basically, to me, is like Dunk saying that he forgives him. And, because all Egg's trying to do is try to make things right, because he did lie and he feels bad about lying and everything like that. We see that. But at the same time, Dunk is trying to give him a little bit of his own medicine by, making him feel a little bad at the same time. So it's kind of a nice scenario there. It gives us this good kind of like thought process of how, you got to see, if you're going to do certain things, things are going to come around and hit you back in the ass. And that's kind of how that whole scenario scene kind of played out. And I thought it was played really well by both actors, and they just played it really well. Then, Dunk having that conversation with Egg's relative, that gentleman there, I think was very interesting, and him kind of explaining, how things are, work, and, with, him having, fought and beat up, a prince and everything, is basically you're fucked. Is kind of, what he basically gets around to. But at the same time, he's like, well, you got 2 choices. You can do this or you can do that. And I think that plays out really interesting, because, this guy really kind of says you should go for this more likely, your second option of, asking for a duel, basically. And as in that conversation, as you're watching it, as the guy is walking around talking to Dunk and everything, and how Dunk is responding and everything, you can kind of see that this guy's trying to be helpful at the same time as trying to make it seem like he's not. He's like trying to make it where he can't be held like as an accomplice to helping out Dunk because of him being related to those people that are bringing these crimes against him. And I think that whole sequence is very interesting and really shows kind of the craziness of like government and stuff like that. And I think that was really interesting as well. But I think by the end of that conversation, you're kind of like, I can't figure out if that guy's a good guy or if he actually wants to help Dunk or if he really is he's just as bad as the other Targaryens. You just don't know. And I think that kind of leaves a little bit of a doubt, like, interesting. Where will this go? What would this guy actually do? I'm sorry. What was your end point again?
When Dunk actually finds out that he has to like be in this 7-on-7 deal.
Okay, so he goes and okay, and so then that whole situation when he goes and says that he's going to take talk to these people and figure out what he's got to do. That whole situation is very interesting. That whole conversation is very out there, and you're just kind of like, this is so fucked, basically with what all the other people, all these Targaryens are saying and stuff like that. And then of course you got that the dickhead who caused the trouble in the last episode, and he's just kind of like smirking over the side and stuff like that. And you're just like, dude, I just want to bash this motherfucker's face in. Like, this guy is such a dick. And you're just like, this guy, he doesn't deserve this princely rule and all this kind of crap. And him, saying that he, basically all the other guys around there that are older and wiser have been doing this a lot longer, says, yeah, well, you gotta agree to his right of fight to combat, and then he's like, oh, I bring up the Knights of Seven, and you're just like, what the fuck what's the fight of seven? And so when you find out that it's like 7 people battling 7 people, you're kind of like, well, that could be interesting. At the same time, I mean, that might be helpful because you have 6 other people in front of you fighting for you. And that might give you a fighting chance to survive, and not, be, chosen to be hung or beheaded or whatever. And you're just like, oh, okay. And, I like how Dunk's expression is like, pardon me, but blah, blah, blah was not very insightful into that. What is the fight of 7? And they kind of explain it. And you're just like, oh, okay. All right. That's interesting. That's different. That's a different type of fighting style I've never heard of, back in that, medieval time. So that was, I think, really interesting, seeing this new type of concept of a type of way of getting yourself out of a punishment, from, because of you did something that disagreed with one of the princes or somebody that was, of higher caliber. And I thought that was really fun. But yeah, basically, that leading up to basically Dunk, thinking like, oh shit, I'm really fucked, and then I have to find 6 other people. Like, oh, like this is fucked. But like the arrogance on that Targaryen dude is Egg's brother is just absolutely just so freaking smug and ridiculous. And it's like, I hope this guy gets his demise. It's that he is just that big of a dick. But I thought that whole beginning sequence at the beginning was really fun, really enjoyable, very interesting, kept me enthralled, kept me enticed and wanting more. And I think it was a really great dialogue, really well written, really great conversation, and just really well acted. So very, very well done, and just super, super enjoyable beginning.
Okay, thank you, Cyber. Andre, same question, sir.
Yeah, so I really like this opening. I appreciate the more like somber tone to this episode. Like, I appreciate the comedy was like kind of like calmed down a little bit through this episode, which is nice. And I was very intrigued how like I was surprised Duncan got arrested. I thought he was going to be saved by Egg, but it makes sense that he was going to be like in a cell and like be kind of punished by his crimes, like what he did, because right, is this Targaryen's a prince, right? He's going to be the heir of the throne, as they've been saying in this episode, right? Because that kind of makes sense, I guess. Or the other fellow is going to be the the prince of the Iron Throne that we see later. I because right now I'm forgetting their names, but like, so was cool to see Egg, now a Targaryen, that reveal, because we all knew that was gonna come in the series. I was kind of surprised we revealed that in episode 3. And yeah, I do feel kind of sorry for Egg. Like he was just doing his, like he didn't want to be part, you know, he was trying to get away from his family, so he thought it'd be a good way to become a servant to this, knight. And he's trying his best to save his friend, from punishment. Um, I really appreciate, I kind of like the was it the King that is like reasonable. Like he's definitely my favorite character in the 97 Kingdoms. I forgot his name. Was it uh what is it, like Targaryen something something?
I don't know.
Yeah, Mangar the Targaryen, or Arion. Yeah, Mangar the Targaryen is definitely my favorite character because I like how he sides with Dunk. He's trying his best to like be like trying to get him out of the punishment and like choose like a combat, and he suggests to do a trial combat, right? But then of course the prince, who's the drunken Targaryen, is so annoying. I agree with Cyber that like I wish he will die soon. Hopefully he dies in the seven of champion, whatever you call it. Because like he's so annoying, and like he chooses, the fact that he chooses another trial tradition over the trial combat. By the way, it was so cool to hear trial combat. Because we hear that twice, one or twice in the Game of Thrones universe in the original, and then did House of Dragon brought up trial combat yet? I don't think so. Um, so now I feel sorry for Duncan. Now he has to like recruit 7 knights over his side, which is going to be hard. Well, not too hard, but like like who's going to side for him? So yeah, I really like this beginning. It was so nice to change like the tone of the episode. Because the last 3 episodes were so like comedic and funny, and so it was cool to kind of go back to the more serious tone from the original show and House of the Dragon. So that's all I have to say. I think that's all I have to say about this beginning part of the episode 4. So
Okay, sir. If that's all you have to say, that's all you have to say, sir.
yes, that's all I have to say. This just thankfully, one thing I want to say, thank
It's the only
goodness.
thing he's got to say.
Yeah. There's more to say. I'm going into my usual, long-winded discussion. But I was happy that we didn't have a bathroom joke. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Dunk having to go out and find 6 motherfuckers to fight with him is a lot of shit to have to do. You know what I'm saying? In one night,
I know. One day, right? Like,
you know what I'm saying?
crazy.
One night, basically, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was definitely feeling for Dunk and on that dunk on that one, man. All right, so Lord Stefan agrees to fight for Dunk and his Dunk's squire buddy. And Egg says that Daron, Makar, and 3 Kingsguard will fight for Aeron. Daron apologizes to Dunk and promises to intentionally fall from his horse, which was funny. He privately tells Dunk about a prophetic dream where he saw Dunk with a dead dragon. So I'll stop there. Going back to you, Andres. What are your thoughts on that section of the episode, sir? The middle section.
Yeah, the middle section. Man, so this person, by the way, it was really cool to they confirmed the guy in the first episode was a Targaryen. I was surprised that was what's his name? Hold on, let me get his Darren, right? Darren is his name, Targaryen. Yeah. So like the fact that was him in the first episode where he was just drunkenly drinking in the pub, like I was like, oh, that was him. That was the other brother. And the fact that he just is so helpless, like not helpful, I was like, oh, come on, help him, man. You're the other Targaryen, and it was just funny. He said like, I will help you, by falling off the horse, as you were saying, Jeff. It was a really nice joke there. Very interesting. He said that he had a dream that he was like, was it standing next to like a dead dragon, right? Very intriguing. Let's see how that goes. But it was cool that he met the other person that was nice to him in the tournament, and you see a little bit like also he gets his armor. That was nice. It was good to hear that the girl fled after the incident of episode 3, so that was good. So, uh, uh, one question I have for you guys was like, he still had to pay for the armor from the guy. Like, what did he say that like I didn't understand. Like he said, like you just have to pay me a quarter pound or something like that. I don't know.
A copper.
A copper.
One
Okay.
copper.
Okay. I don't know how Dunk is gonna find that, but like that's gonna be, you know,
Well,
difficult.
he's got a copper. He's got one copper.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
One
didn't.
copper's not a lot of money. I
Yeah.
don't think. You know,
No.
that's just one copper.
Yeah.
It's like he gave Dunk a break.
Yeah. After saving the girl, I kind of like that he kind of like say that no, you just owe me a copper and that's it. That was nice. So I really like that, and I like that, at least people are respecting Dunk, because he did the risible thing as a knight, like because let's face it, the drunken Targaryen was very rude and like viciously evil, just attacking this like show that was like just wasn't offensive and anything like that. Um, so I'm very happy that like a lot of people around the tournament started to like respect Dunk and like at least there was a couple that they like will draw him into the Seven Knights, which was great. Um, yeah, and I think also like you see here Dunk slowing building some confidence as a knight and stuff like that. So yeah, I like this middle section. Nothing else to say. So it's really good.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Cyber. Go ahead, sir.
Refresh me on the endpoint, sir.
After Dara or after Aaron or whatever tells Dunk that he has some prophetic dream about him Dunk killing a dragon or whatever.
Okay. All right. I mean, the middle section, as you're calling it, is quite interesting. When Dunk goes off to try to find people to help him, that one guy that he's kind of become friends with in the series takes him to his cousin, and his cousin says that he's all about helping him and shit, and says, I'll find people for you to help you. And like that was really shocking. It was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, why are you all of a sudden out of nowhere going, yeah, I'll help you. I think you're cool because you are going by the Knight's Code and shit like that. You're just kind of like thinking to myself, like, what? This is odd. This is very strange. And then you're kind of like, is this guy a good guy now? You're like, is he actually not that much of a dickhead as we thought he was? I'm like, this is interesting. So, we have kind of, them trying to figure things out. Egg pops up to try to help out as well. And at one point, after he pops up again after he's got some people and brings his other brother, the one that we saw earlier in the first episode that was at that inn that, says, stay away from me. I saw you in a fucking dream. And you're just kind of like, oh, this guy again. And basically he's the one that kind of, supposedly he's the one that said, oh yeah, he said that Dunk stole Egg, that he kidnapped Egg, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, no, he didn't. I'm like, because that sequence, when he mentions that to the other Targaryen guy, and he's like, no, that was like 4 nights ago, and it's just like kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they have kind of their conversation, which was, very, very interesting. Him kind of explaining how he has certain dreams and stuff like that come true, that he has a special power basically because of having dreams that come true. And, basically saying he actually did have a dream about him and that he slayed a dragon and stuff like that. And just kind of like thinking to yourself, I think Doug's probably thinking to himself, like, what the hell? Like, this is odd. Like, me slaying a dragon? What? And you're kind of thinking to yourself at the same time, like, is he talking about a figurative dragon, or is he talking about the House of Targaryen? Because their emblem is, the dragon. And so you're thinking maybe he actually is saying that he's going to slay a Targaryen, as he's explaining this, not an actual literal dragon, and so I think that that's kind of interesting how they really are playing into the dragon aspect, in this episode, especially because that's, kind of one of the reasons why the one Targaryen guy there is like trying to get Dunk and shit because he decimated the House of Targaryen, the dragon, blah blah blah. Because they kind of explain that in this section about how, like, it's because they were using puppets about the dragons and slaying them, that they can't do that with, because that's like copyright infringement almost. Like, it was like kind of, that's how it came across to me, and I was kind of cracking up, like, really? I'm like, oh, what are you trying to say, Warner Brothers? Anywho, so I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, figurative dragon, this and that. I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And you kind of see a different side of this guy, when he's not in a drunken stupor like he was that we saw in the last episode. And he kind of, explains things and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's different. And I think that the kind of the scenario of, trying to bring people together, that was, I think, fun too. I think seeing all that kind of happen, stuff like that was really fun. And seeing the help that, Dunk was getting, even though, Dunk thinks that he's all alone because he has nobody and stuff like that, and yet in that short time that he's, been journeying to become a knight, to be in the list and to fight in this jousting competition and stuff like that, he's really acquired quite a few people, as friends. I mean, as we saw in these first 3 episodes prior to this episode, kind of becomes friends with that one knight guy that dances with him. He becomes that one squire that has the asshole uncle or asshole cousin. We have him get friendly with Egg and stuff like that. So it's like he has been kind of grown a family, and it's kind of fun seeing kind of how this family is coming together in this. And this episode kind of brings that together, showing that there are people out there that do believe in what Dunk was doing. And this little section here really shines and shows that, and gives you some really fun aspects to, I feel, look forward to it, hopefully in further seasons, getting to see more about that and stuff like that. So I think they did a really good job with this midsection. I really enjoyed it. And I thought there was a lot of great fun stuff that happened leading up to your endpoint where, we get that crazy dragon story. And, it'll be interesting to see if it literally means an actual Targaryen and not an actual dragon.
Okay, thank you, Cyber. All right. So, all right, after Dunk hears about the dragon dream that foretells his future or whatever, Steely Pate, the blacksmith, informs Dunk that Tanzil has fled Ashford, then gives him his shield and armor for 1 copper. As dawn breaks, Egg brings Lionel, Robin, Harding, and Sir Humphrey Beesbury to fight for Dunk. Even though the one dude has a broken leg. But Stefan switches sides after revealing that Arion promised him a lordship. Lionel knights Raymond to replace Stefan. Still one night short, Dunk appeals to the crowd's honor, and Baylor declares that he will fight for Dunk. So, Andres, what are your thoughts, sir, on the end of the episode?
Fantastic. Best part about this episode. First off, it was great to hear towards the end of the episode the Game of Thrones theme. I was not expecting that because so far the show has been doing its own original music, and so it was really cool when Baylor came say that I will vouch for you, Dunk, and then the music of the Game of Thrones, classic song, came in and get that really sweeping hurrah and applause that you kind of do you watch an episode or a movie. So that was really nice to hear that. I thought it was really cool to see Dunk being the knight and getting some support at least. So it was cool to see the various characters that he encountered, as Cyber said before, in this last 3 episodes, and seeing a little bit of them joining him to do the 7 nights. So that was cool. But man, I knew that the cousin was gonna like switch sides because the drunken Targaryen was gonna like give him a lordship, and I was like, oh, of course. And so I was like not surprised that he was gonna do that because he was always like a douchey character in the show. So pardon my French, but I think that was like not shocking. But I was happy that the I guess the cousin's brother took his place, so I was not expecting that. But yeah, so I thought the finale was really great. I loved the speech he did, and then this is where I was totally happy they did a bathroom joke when you thought the guy was standing up, and then he just of course he fart, and then and everyone started to laugh. That was a cool joke. I thought that was a good way to like break that like serious speech that Doug did, and yeah, it really played well because I felt that some of the jokes in the last three episodes didn't work for me, and I thought this one really worked. But yeah, I really liked the finale. I think this was a strong episode. This is definitely my favorite. Very excited to see how this series is gonna end its first season in the 2 weeks. So yeah, pretty good.
All right, Cyber, wrap us up on this episode, sir.
So the conclusion of the episode is really fun too. I think the whole kind of speech and everything that Dunk gives is really powerful, really enticing, very spiritual. I think also it's very much, it brings you to tears almost. I mean, it gives you a lot of emotion. And I was like really impressed with that. I thought that the writing was on point there and just really worked really well. And the gentleman that's playing Dunk, I think he's a fantastic actor. I've really have enjoyed him in this series, and I think that really shined for him in this sequence when he's given this giant speech at the end, and it's really done well. And just seeing everyone come to his aid is just so fun and awesome. Showing once again, like I was mentioning earlier, about kind of that he has people that are there that do want to help him, and that he's not all alone like he thinks he is. And I think that was really fun. Egg coming to the rescue, these people coming, even a guy that, his leg is broken. He still comes to help because he can ride a horse still. He'll be there to help him because they understand the night code. And I love that about the show, about the whole night code thing, because I think the night code is such a great idea, a great concept, a great thought process, a great part about medieval shows, TV movies, etc. I just love the whole Knights Code thing. I think that it's a really great thing that is, passe these days. I think that, there's a lot of integrity in being a knight. And I just love that. I think that really brings together the show and makes it really fun. But that whole speech is, great until that one guy gets up and farts. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, out of nowhere, just some guy farts, and I'm just like, oh, what a dick. I'm like, Jesus Christ, the fart was hilarious, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, I was thinking when Andre says no potty humor, I'm like, well, there was still potty humor in this episode, and I got the fart at the end here, which I thought was super funny. But at the same time, it's just like, wow, what a way to ruin a great speech by letting out a fart.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? I'm like, hold on. I'm like, hilarious at the same time, but like, poor Duncan. He just gave this great speech. And then, even after the part, he goes into even more of a deeper speech there again. And it's just really powerful and done so well. And when the gentleman that he was talking to at the beginning of the episode pops up and says, I'll be your sixth guy, I was like, I didn't see that coming. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, yes, because after the whole situation where this one squire's cousin decides to be a dick and because he could get a lordship, I was like, dude, what a sellout. I'm like, you aren't really about the Knight's Code if you sold out like that. I'm like, what kind of bullshit is this? And you just like when the squire guy pushes his cousin and stuff like that, I was like hoping he would deck him. I was just like, oh, that guy deserves to be decked. I'm like, oh man. And then he gets knighted. I think that's so cool and so awesome. And I love that. And I love the whole scenery of that whole sequence too. The whole stage and everything there. The production value was just so well done. Very high level Game of Thrones look and so much fun. But then when the song of the original show starts playing after Dunk's speech, I was like literally rooting because that song is so freaking powerful and awesome. And I love that. I love that it played right into that. I thought that was so freaking cool. But yeah, I think it's a really solid ending to a really great episode. Absolutely love this episode. And, I think that I'm really looking forward to the next episode. It's just going to be badass and so much fun. And just how it leaves off, you're just like, ooh, how's this battle going to go down? It's going to be so freaking sweet. And this whole episode, I just thought was such a great episode that really extended the story, really helped it move along, and just really was a fun and enjoyable, entertaining episode. Really done well.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Short recap this week for 97 Kingdoms. This is a very short episode. Guys, what else are you watching on HBO Max this year besides 97 Kingdoms? What are you planning on watching, Cyber, on HBO Max?
Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head.
Nothing. Oh, how about you, Andres?
Yeah, there were a couple things that I was doing last year that I need to get back to. More Studio Ghibli films. That was something I was doing last year when in HBO Max. So hopefully this month or whenever I get to the point to watch more Studio Ghibli films. Everyone knows Studio Ghibli is those Japanese or Japan like anime films that like are so cute and so mystical. It's so fun to watch. They're really great films. That some of them are action packed too, in a very surprising way. That's something I need to go back in the HBO Max to watch and make them to my movie reviews because I did that as my short reviews. So I need to get back to that. And then there's some movies I want to see to get around. Like couple of international films and some independent films that I see that I like that I want to see for the first time. So yeah, so there's a lot of things in HBO Max I need to see if I have the time to see it.
I mainly meant television, sir, but thank you.
Yes. Well, sorry, but I'm trying to extend this episode, to 40 minutes.
Oh, you're trying to help us get to 40 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, got you. Okay. All right, guys. Let's do our ratings for this week. So I'll go ahead and give this episode a 10. Cyber, what's your rating this week?
10, 10, 10, 10. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, people. 10. Fucking fantastic.
Okay.
Oh my god, Mr. 10 is back.
Andres.
Sure. I'm gonna give it a high rating, but not like 10 as Mr. 10 here. 9 out of 10. I thought this was a really good episode. I thought it was more serious than the last 3 episodes, and I think it's leaving us at a very strong note for the last 2 episodes in 2 weeks. So yeah, 9 out of 10.
Okay, 9 out of 10. All right. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, hey, these short episodes, unfortunately lend towards very short recaps. So, I like to go longer than 40 minutes usually, but we can only work with what we got here. And, I read the synopsis and it broke down into 3 parts, basically, so unfortunately not that many people, not that many creators are watching this show right now. It's not widespread watched by everybody that we know of that can come over and contribute on these recaps. But anyways, all right, guys, here, why don't we go ahead and do our plugs and we will call it a night. Andres, you can start, sir, since you were already talking about your content anyways.
Sure. Hello, everyone. This is Andreas Book Culture Guy. This is my channel, Channel Presents. Recently posted yesterday my my update. Let me say this update: top 10 favorite X-Men films. Now that we are in Secret Wars territory, or Doomsday / Secret Wars territory for the MCU, I thought it would be a good time to sort of update my top 10 favorite X-Men films. And now that we got Deadpool, Wolverine, you can check that out. See what made it, what didn't make it, and what is the number one favorite X-Men film from Andreas Pop Culture Guy. And then just today, I just recently posted a clip from the Batman 60 show where the dramatic duo versus the Joker and Penguin in their Batcave. This is season 2, the classic Joker three-parter episode, so you can check that out. Yesterday, I posted the Deadpool opening, the Bye Bye Dance for the short. Tonight, in February 12th, I'm gonna do a short review on the first Deadpool film. You can check out the other Deadpool film reviews, the second and the third film, of course. They're right there. And of course, you can enjoy all the Deadpool clips. That's where I'm at right now. No live stream for this week, but next Sunday, the 22nd, that's the next one, which is going to be Scream, the 1996 classic film. I got a couple creators lined up. The room upstairs is in the panel that's set and done. So because we got a new Scream film coming out this month, actually, in the 27th. So that's all I'm at right now. Plus, tomorrow I'm going to be over the Booze and Chills channel to do a watch party again. This time it's going to be called a movie called, was it Bucket of Blood? That will be kind of interesting to see. So please join me tonight with Booze and Chill to do a watch party. It'll be starting around, 8:30 at my area Eastern time, and then 7:30 Central time for those guys. So he will let you know in Instagram what time we were going to start. I'm a little fuzzy on that, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Thank you, everyone.
All right, Cyberneticshark, sir, go ahead.
All right, folks. So if you enjoyed me on the panel or enjoying me doing my moderating days, you can check out my solo content under Cyberneticshark. You'll find me on YouTube. That's my main homepage. But you can also find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, Patreon, pretty much any other social media platform. As you can see here, my most recent review is Zootopia 2. Finally got that up. If you haven't checked that out, give it a whirl, people. Such a great sequel. Well worth the 9-year wait. If you haven't seen my Anaconda movie review, check that one out. Those are my 2 most recent reviews. For mini reviews, I believe still stuck on the Sora, a couple Sora ones I did recently. And of course, for a couple of the other mini reviews were a couple of recent movies I saw. If you haven't seen any of those, definitely check those out too as well. I'll be having more content up for you guys soon, working on getting it edited and all that kind of good stuff. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. And as always, appreciate you guys watching, checking stuff out. Keep on subscribing, keep on watching us, keep on helping us here and watching us on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Keep on checking out all these other great content creators that we have on, and we appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you, Cyber. We'll be back on Friday, folks, on for the MCU's Bleeding Edge. And I'm moderating on Friday again, too, because I've got to moderate my Apple movie pick on Friday. The short bus or whatever the fuck the movie's called. The long bus, the last bus. I don't know, some shit like that. The last bus, I think.
Hold on. No, before we leave, we need to make sure we're saying this right. The last bus. Oh my god.
I think it's the last bus.
No, it's the long bus.
The long bus?
Yes, because that's 2025. Yeah, it's the long bus because that's Matthew McConaughey. Just like
okay, the long bus. Okay, folks, the long bus on Friday. There you go. I can't wait. It's gonna be a blast to watch. I already know it. Make sure you, Andres, make sure you watch Monarch.
I know.
Gotta watch season 1, baby. 10 episodes.
I know. I'm a Godzilla fan. I'm trying to. I tell you, there's a lot of going on. All right.
All right, folks. God bless you. Stay warm.